the glowing numbers that the Honorable MP is talking about were revised. The 5.3% was revised to 7% deficit. The 4.5 was revised to 7%. The 5.3 was revised to 7.2%. And in that report, there was a gap. There was a fiscal gap of 3 to 5%, which the government itself disclosed to the IMF. I'm mentioning 2019 because you will recall that recently, the World Bank country director indicated that our arrears going into COVID was about 5% of GDP. That's significant, right? And this is the basis on which some of them have projected that the deficit for 2020 was about 15%. Government said this was 11%. If you add that 5%, because the arrears for 5%, is part of the calculation of the fiscal balance, you will get a deficit of 15–16%. And it didn't indicate, then that should tell us clearly that we had difficulties before COVID. Also two things. The reluctance of the government to accept that the figures that they have been projecting, and the only reason 2017 3.7 was not revised was because bailout cost was not factored at all. You can go and check 2017, there was no provision for bailout costs, despite ESLA. And by the way, we left ESLA, which should have been used to clear, the banking sector and the energy sector arrears. And please, you can Google again. In 2017, both the minister and the vice president were in Washington and assuring the whole world, that there was sufficient money from ESLA to clear those arrears. Why are we talking about IPPs today? Right? Because that is the reason why those were. And how come that in the whole statement there was no mention of ESLA? How come that instead of using the money to start paying down, as we started doing with VRA, debt, and is there documented, how come that money was turned into a loan? Instead of a direct negotiation, with the lenders and the banks, as we did. How come it was turned into a loan? And what happened to that loan? Such that today, ESLA is going to bring in 43 billion. The minister said 25 billion or so had been spent on, the energy sector and the bailout costs and whatever. That money is already, has come through ESLA. Please go to the ESLA report. ESLA has generated that much already. So where is the money such that now we are talking about arrears? So I'm mentioning this to set a record straight that the problems existed before COVID. And by the way, sometimes I get surprised. We had disruption in gas supply from Nigeria, if you remember, for about 2.5 years, almost 3 years. We gave it one word, Dumso. It was critical, America, and all those things, right? We had the continuing effects of the global financial crisis, which started in 2008, marked the year, and therefore the full effect of the global financial crisis, 2007, 2008. Please, mark the year, 2007. It means that the full effect was from 2009. We had 2014, 2015, the collapse of crude oil prices. By the way, crude oil prices hit 115 US dollars per barrel, 112, $115 per barrel between 2011 and 2012. What did we do with one oil field? That was the windfall that we used to create the sinking fund, the stabilization fund. 370 million of which was used, is being used today and was called upon for COVID. We have 3 oil fields. The excuses are just too much. We have 3 oil fields. We were able to achieve that with 1 oil field. And we couldn't even master the 70,000 barrels because of the tariff buried and other, What did we do with 3 oil fields before COVID? What did we do with an increase in oil revenue? from about 70,000 barrels, if you take it to 70,000
right. So
barrels,
now
200,000 barrels.
Now this